Welcome to the World of Rare Disease, a show that focuses on awareness and education about rare and complex disorders. I am Lisa Deck, today's host and committee member of Rare New England. Today's show features Seth Rotberg, the Partnerships Manager for Inspire. Inspire is a leading social network for health that connects patients and caregivers in a safe, permission-based manner. Inspire works with nonprofit advocacy community partners to support the community within each specific medical condition category. Inspire is proud to have selected features such as a Connect panel, a discussion feed, expert moderation, and resources available to support engagement. In a different show, Seth discussed his personal experience with Huntington's disease and how he became involved as a passionate volunteer with the Huntington's Disease Youth Organization. Today, Seth will talk about his professional occupation as a partnership manager for Inspire. We are excited that Seth can share Inspire with us and all of the viewers. Thank you, Seth, again, for being here.
Thanks for having me again.
Yes,
I'm
it's
excited
wonderful.
to be back.
Excellent. We would love to hear a little bit about Inspire and what the organization is about and its mission.
Yeah, so as you touched upon, Inspire is a social health network that connects patients and caregivers to one another anonymously. And really, it was started back in 2005 because we really wanted to get the patients and caregivers' voices more involved in medical research, is to accelerate medical progress. Because a lot of times, as we know, their voices are being left out, and we really were like, well, how can we not only provide a place where they can connect with one another, but also where we can learn and see if we can get their voices heard to help speed up that medical progress and get one step closer to treatments or even a cure with some of these conditions.
Wonderful. It sounds as though, there was a need, you filled it.
Mm-hmm.
And where is Inspire today? I mean, that was 14 years ago it started, and I mean, now it's grown. I go online and wow, it's definitely a active site.
Yeah, we actually have almost 1.5 million members, which
Wow,
is a lot.
that is a lot.
We work with over 100 patient advocacy organizations. I believe we have over 200 communities. So we're really trying to continue to expand, especially in the rare disease space, where we want to try to make sure these patients and caregivers from different conditions can connect with one another, again, anonymously. And the reason why we do it anonymously is because we want to make sure that they're comfortable and they're comfortable sharing whatever information they want, whether it's a lot or little. I see it as kind of like those usernames for AOL or AIM, where you kind of create one, and then if you want to share more information about you, you can. But also, if you don't want to, then you can do that as well without feeling like, oh, everyone knows who I am. And it can be challenging with other social media platforms where your name might be attached to some of the information you say. So we're trying to take a different approach to that.
Right. So what is your role within the organization?
So as a partnerships manager, my role is to not only maintain relationships with our current patient advocacy organizations, but build new partnerships with patient advocacy organizations. And by building these relationships up, we want to create online communities for their patients and caregivers, and really, again, find a place where they can connect with one another, but also making sure that these members of the community have the proper resources. Because again, we're not the experts within those specific conditions, and the patient advocacy organizations are. So working with them to create these communities, we offer this custom header. So based on the nonprofit, they have their logo, they create the name of their community, they have their topics of their choice based on what the needs are of those members. And then really just having also their resources. So if they are putting a resource on conferences or a place to donate to their cause, we really want to make sure that they know that we're not just trying to take it over, but that we're working together in collaboration and building up that trust. That's a big thing that we're really trying to show, especially nowadays with how social media can be so crazy, where you never know who owns what. And we really want to show that, hey, we're not just throwing this out there to you. We want to first build this relationship up with you, build that trust up, and show that we can have these conversations of how to continue to improve and continue to support these organizations.
So it is a true partnership that you're working on, and you're actually building those partnerships. So it's a way to work together and collaborate for these patients and people who want to be on this site, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great because being a rare disease advocate myself, I really try to connect with them on a personal level. So I'm saying, hey, I'm not trying to sell you on this community, but really saying, hey, how can I learn about what your needs are? How can we work together? And building relationships take time with anything.
Right.
Think whether it's a romantic relationship or it's a, partnership like the one that we try to build at Inspire. But ultimately, I try to tell them, hey, listen, like, I understand, I've been in your shoes, I'm still in your shoes, and I want to make sure that your patients and caregivers or your community has a place they can go and connect with each other based on what they're looking for. A lot of times it is newly diagnosed, but other times it's, hey, we need to find a specialist in my area, or hey, I need to find treatment, or just I need to find support. I'm isolated. Where do I go?
Well, in hearing all this, I have the $1,000,000 question. What is your favorite part of your job?
Really, besides trying to pronounce each rare disease,
That is a challenge.
I love that there's like abbreviations now. So one of our newer partners is the Chiari and Syringomyelia Foundation.
Say that 5 times fast.
The power of YouTube. I go like how to pronounce it. I had to listen to that over and over again. But back to your point, it's really just understanding each of these different conditions and how a lot of them overlap. Whether it's, again, understanding the different types of treatments, research opportunities, or how to figure out those next steps in your life. And just seeing how we've made an impact on some of these members. We've had actually some Inspire members end up getting married, which is crazy to think about, but we've also had them meet up outside of Inspire to really connect on a more personable level. And so hearing these stories is what motivates me, because I'm like, okay, I think I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because if we're connecting them to one another and then also learning from our partners about what else we can do to help them, it's a win-win. So it's really great to have that feeling of, okay, I'm doing something great in the community, I'm giving back, but I'm also learning about these different conditions and how we can continue to support them.
Right. It sounds like it's a great fit, what the organization is doing and your goals and the feedback. That sounds excellent. So you're talking about different communities. Could you just give me an example of a few? You just mentioned one that I will never be able to pronounce, but
CSF.
Yes, CSF. I got that. But maybe just talk a little bit about some of them, because when I went on the site, I mean, you don't have to list all 200, but there's a variety of conditions, and I think that is interesting. And so maybe just touch on a couple of them.
Yeah, and we work in oncology, chronic and rare, so there are a variety of them, whether we're working. And I'll mention more of the partners in general, like whether it's working with the American Liver Foundation, American Lung Association, or focusing with the Ehlers-Danlos Society, which for a rare condition, we have over 70,000 members of that specific community. But we also work with, the Encephalitis Global community. We have a Sturge-Weber community, sarcoidosis community. I mean, I could keep on going, but it's great to really have a diverse group, but then also, figure out how we can support them and making sure that they kind of own their community and that the members own their information of, hey, this is what I want to connect about, or hey, I just want to see what other people are saying and see if I can relate to them, and then maybe reach out later.
Right. So if somebody is interested in learning more about Inspire, how do they find you? How do they go about learning about the website?
Yeah, so a couple things. I mean, they go to just inspire.com. I mean, that's where they'll be able to kind of look around the site, kind of get familiar with it. I think that's the best place to start. Of course, I'm happy to answer questions. I guess I'll throw out, if they're interested in connecting personally, they can just reach out to me at Seth@inspire.com. Pretty easy, I would say.
Right.
Because sometimes you may not find, as you know, when you Google something, you may have additional questions. Oh, where do I find this? Where can I get help with this? And maybe I can help with that or get them to the right support, the right resource, as I mentioned on the previous show, of making sure people are finding the right fit for what they're looking for.
Right. I think it's interesting because you go to Google, and I know as a patient, one of the most important things for me was connecting with people. And I didn't for the longest time because I couldn't find anybody. But once you make those connections, and it sounds like that's what Inspire is looking to do, to try to connect people so that, and it can be anonymously, or it can be, they can share information and get together. So I think that's really a valuable resource that, this organization can really do. What are the plans for Inspire for the future?
For the future, we're just trying to continue to grow. Again, trying to build new partnerships with rare disease organizations. We want to be the leader in the rare disease space and continue to show different rare disease nonprofits that we're here to help. We're here to, take out our hand and say, hey, let's work together. Let's find a safe, permission-based place where your members can connect with one another, but really also just building up that trust and really showing people, hey, let's be honest with each other, open communication, and continue to grow as an organization. I mean, we do want to get their voices continued to be involved in this medical research process, whether it's, offering opportunities for, clinical trials, treatments, surveys, interviews. We really want to try to offer more of that this year. Again, hearing about what their needs are, because it's very important. And it's not just saying, hey, let's hear about it after the trial's over. Let's hear from the beginning. Let's get their voices heard first. Or let's build up, this patient voice, but not only the patient voice, the caregiver voice too. And I think that's sometimes not always discussed in the health space. It's always about the patient, but caregivers play just as big of a role in understanding those unmet needs that we want to continue to drive when getting to that next step in research.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing about that. I think Inspire is definitely a website that our viewers might want to check out, particularly if they have a chronic or rare disease, and just look at what options exist there. We are very thankful for you being here today. Thank you for being part of our show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity, and let's continue to collaborate in the rare disease space.
Sounds like a plan. I like it. So we just want to, before closing, provide our viewers with an opportunity to share comments and ask questions in our segment called Rare New England in Motion. It is the perfect way to expand upon our mission. We ask you, if you have questions about today's show, to send it to info@rarenewengland.org. We will answer your question in our next show. We received a question from a viewer about when our Rare New England Fall Conference will be. She was wondering about the date, and we are happy to tell you that it will be October 26th, 2019 in Portland, Maine. So mark your calendars. That's our show for today. Please continue to share comments with us, and a special thank you to Seth again for being here. From all of us at Rare New England and all the patients and families who keep rare disease in motion, thank you for watching. And remember, when you hear hoofbeats, think horses and then zebras. Thank you.